Welcome back, guys. A little bit more about Fusion 360, a few new functions that I'm going to show you. The first one is just a variation on something that we've already done. I'm just going to go 30 square here. I'm just really just making an object up as I go. I sort of loosely in my mind have an idea about what this object is going to be, but we're just going to play a little bit with it. Alrighty, so a couple of things to take note of there, guys. I have referenced my center point. I've started drawing my 30 by 30 square in that center point, and that's going to be a little bit more helpful for us as we continue. Okay, so I'm going to create something from this top square. Now, what we would normally do here is I would tell you to create a sketch on this top surface, and then we would draw a sketch, extrude that sketch, and do something with it. We're gonna work a little bit differently this time. So, left click to select that surface, and rather than go create sketch, I'm going to go to offset plane. So I went and drew that square as a 10 millimeter extrusion. I'm going to offset this 20 millimeters up, and that's going to mean that I've sort of got a cube-like shape that's going to be happening. So if you can imagine, I've come up 10, I'm going up another 20, and that sort of loosely matches the 30 by 30 square that I drew to start with. All right, notice that we now have a work plane available to us floating above our object. Now, at the moment, that work plane is not doing anything, we've just created it. So I need to actually select that work plane, right click and create sketch. Notice that my center point moves. That center point is now the center point of that work plane. Okay, and that work plane was referenced from my existing square. That original center point of my universe is still going to be there. We just can't see it at the moment. Okay, what we're going to do here, guys, is I am going to draw a circle that's 30 millimeters in diameter, and I'm going to finish that sketch. Now, what we would typically do with that is we would extrude that, and we might extrude that down like that, but I don't want to do that this time. I want to go through a process called Loft. So in this case, I am going to select the circle that I've drawn, and I am going to loft it to the square that I've drawn. Now, if you're a sheet metal worker, they would call this a transition piece. You could imagine this sort of thing being in an air conditioning duct or something like that. So that is lofting, which is pretty cool. Why would you want to do this? Well, let's say we're building a syringe holder, and the syringe might be 20 millimeters in diameter, and you might be wanting to incorporate your syringe holder into a spacer that's going between some parts. So you might then go and create a sketch on this surface with 3 millimeter hole, another 3 millimeter hole. You can center those a fixed distance, so I don't know, 15 millimeters away from each other. Let's see if we can align the two of these. That worked. It's aligned in that direction. I don't think it's aligned in the other direction. So let's say 5. Same 5 as well, so that's good. Okay, now why am I doing this? Well, if we're going to 3D print these objects, it's particularly useful if you've got your holes and things like that so that you can screw into. It's useful if you 3D print all of that sort of stuff on there. might just try something here. I don't know if this is going to work, so happy to give it a go and just see what happens. I'm going to mirror. Let's try to mirror these two features. Now, it wants a mirror plane. So if I want those two holes to feature over this side, I need to, okay, now that I've worked that out, I'm going to offset a plane. So over in my origins, I'm going to find that original work plane, which I reckon that there signifies the original work plane. And if I offset an original work plane, the original work plane, and I offset that 15 millimeters, I reckon if I go to mirror now, I'll be able to select these as features, and I reckon I'll be able to select that as a mirror plane. Oh, look at that. That's pretty cool. Wasn't 100% sure that I was going to be able to do that, but look at that, you can. So using these sort of tricks and tips, just exploring with things, really makes your life easier. There's lots of ways of doing things. For me, if I was doing this, I'd probably try to make this a little bit nicer by adding in some fillets or something. That's representing 5 millimeters of material, so I might put a 2.5 millimeter round or something like that on there, just to make it look a little bit nicer, just sort of a nicer part now. Stay tuned, and I'll show you some more videos pretty soon.